it's not. No. Oh, well, all right. No, I'll go sit down. It's no big deal. I'll go sit down. Yeah. So, I'm going to depend on you to announce the Al-Khaid stuff.
Yep.
All right.
I'll do all the announcing.
All right.
For your rabbinic degree to learn
How to do Al-Khaid.
This away now.
So,
All right.
if we run out of melody for the procession, and we need to fill in the song, what song? Give me a song.
Jeff? And do we have the first set? Because we go right to the ark. Wait, did I give you the? Okay, yeah. Yeah. I can ask right now, by the way. If you were assigned for the first or second Aliyah, the Kohen or Levi, can you just identify yourself to our Gabbai? Okay.
What's going on?
Welcome back. Page 361. We rise as we take the Torah from the ark.
Are we ready? Vayehi bin so Aharon, vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, veyafutu oivecha, veyanusu mesanecha, mipanecha, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udvar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kdushato. Gadlu l'Adonai iti, uneromema shemo yachdav, lecha Adonai hagedula, והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לאדום רגליו, קדוש הוא. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. אשא עיני אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. אשא עיני אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי מאת אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ. עזרי מאת אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ.
And you may be seated. We're on page 365. We'll be reading from chapter 19 of the book of Leviticus. What is listed as the alternate Torah reading. And Danny Bachman will be our reader.
Here it is. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
ותגלה ותראה מלכותו עלינו בזמן קרוב, ויחון פליטתנו פליטת עמו בית ישראל, לכנו לחסד, לרחמים ולרצון, ונאמר אמן. הבו גודל לאלוהינו תנו כבוד לתורה, כהן קרב יעמוד, צבי בן יצחק הכהן. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו,
אתם הדביקים באדוני אלוהיכם, חיים כולכם היום.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר ברך בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל כל עדת בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם קדושים תהיו, כי קדוש אני אדוני אלוהיכם. איש אמו ואביו תיראו, ואת שבתותי תשמורו, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אל תפנו אל האלילים, ואלוהי מסכה לא תעשו לכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Yamod, Yosef ben Dover Halevi, Miriam.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן. וכי תזבחו זבח שלמים לאדוני, לרצונכם תזבחוהו. ביום זבחכם יאכל וממחרת, והנותר עד יום השלישי באש ישרף. ואם האכל ביום יאכל ביום השלישי, פיגול הוא לא ירצה, ואוכליו עוונו יישא, כי את קודש אדוני חילל, ונכרתה הנפש ההיא מעמיה, ובקוצרכם את קציר ארצכם, לא תכלה פאת שרך לקצור, ולקט קצירך לא תלקט, וכרמך לא תעולל, ופרת כרמך לא תלקט, לעני ולגר תעזוב אותם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet b'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Ha'amod Adina Miriam Bat Yosef Esther Danit Maftirah.
Maftir reading is on page 366.
Oh, here we go.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Lo tignovu, v'lo tchachashu, v'lo tshakru, ish be'amito, v'lo tishavu bishmi la'shaker, v'chilalta et shem Elohecha ani Adonai, lo ta'ashok et re'echa, v'lo tigzol, lo talin fe'ulat sachir, idcha ad boker, לא תקלל חרש ולפני עיוור לא תיתן מכשול ויראת מאלוהיך אני אדוני.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ya'amod ha'machbia. Ha'amod ha'golele.
We rise as the Torah is lifted. V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yashkoach. As those of you who have been with us the last few years know, since COVID began, we have tried to think about how we do the book of Yonah, which is, I think, one of the most fascinating books that we have, but also a little bit long for a Haftarah, and especially for people who are watching only online. And so we've tried to think about visuals that can help us to be able to focus in a little bit more on the story, especially those who may not know the Hebrew. And so today, we are once again trying something new. The Haftarah begins on page 367. And as you will see, for those of you who will understand the reference to a movie, this is going to be Jonah Actually.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hanemarim b'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
Vayehi dvar Adonai el Yonah ben Amittai lemor kum lech al Nineveh ha'ir hagadola ukra leha ki alataratam lefanai vayakom Yonah livroach tarshisha milifnei Adonai Vayered Yafo Vayimtza Onia Ba'Tarshish Vayiten Schara Vayered Ba Lavo Imahem Tarshisha Milifnei Adonai Vadonai Hetil Rach Gedola El Hayam Vayehi Sar Gadol Bayam V'ha'onia Chishava Lehishaver Vayiru Hamalachim Vayizaku Ish El Elohav Vayatilu Et HaKelim Asher Ba'onia El Hayam Lehakel Me'alehem V'yonah Yarad El Yarketei Hasafina Vayishka Vayeradam Vayikra Ve'elav Ruach HaChovel Vayomer Lo Malacha Nirdam Kum Kra Lelohecha Ulai Yitashet Ha'Elohim Lanu V'lo Noved Vayomeru Ish El Rehu Lechu V'napi Lagoralot V'nei De'ah B'shelemi Hara'ah Hazot Lanu Ve'apilu Goralot Vayipol Hagoral Al Yonah Vayomeru Elav Hagirana Lanu B'asher Lemihara Hazot Lanu Ma Melachtecha U'me'ayin Tavo Ma'artzecha Ve'emize'am Ata Vayomer Alehem Ivri Anochi Ve'et Adonai Elohei Hashamayim Ani Yareh Asher Asa Et Hayam Ve'et Hayavasha Vayiru Ha'anashim Yirah Gdola Vayomeru Elav Mazot Asita Ki Yadu Ha'anashim Ki milifnei Adonai hu voreach ki higid lahem Vayomeru elav manas elach Vayishtok hayam me'aleinu Ki hayam holach v'so'er Vayomer alehem Sa'uni v'hatiluni al hayam Vayishtok hayam me'alechem Ki yodea ani ki besheli hasar hagadol hazeh alechem vayachteru ha'anashim להשיב אל היבשה ולא יכולו כי הים הולך וסוער עליהם ויקראו אל אדוני ויאמרו Ana Adonai al nanu v'da b'nefesh ha'ish hazeh ve'al titen aleinu dam naki ki ata Adonai ka'asher chafatzta asita vayis'u et Yonah vayetiluhu el hayam vayamod hayam mizapo Vayir'u hanashim yira gdola et Adonai v'yizbechu zevach l'Adonai vayidru nedarim Vayiman Adonai da gadol livloa et Yonah Vayihi Yonah mimei hadag shlosha yamim u'shlosha leilot V'yitpalel Yonah el Adonai Elohav mimei hadaga Vayomer karati mitzara li el Adonai vaya'aneni mibeten she'ol shivati shamata koli vatashlicheni mitzula bilvav yamim Venahar yesoveveni kol mishberecha vegalecha alay avaru Va'ani amarti nigrashti mineged einecha ach osif lehavit el heichal kodshecha afafuni mayim ad nefesh tehom yesoveveni suv chavush l'roshi likitzvei harim yaradati Haaretz berichaha va'adi le'olam v'atal mishachat chayai Adonai Elohai b'yitatef alai nafshi ez Adonai zacharti v'tavo elecha tfilati el heichal kodshecha mishamerim havlei shav chastam ya'azovu Va'ani bekol toda es bechalach asher nadarti ashalema Yeshuat Adonai Vayomer Adonai ladag vayaket Yonah el hayavasha vayahid Adonai el Yonah shenit lemor Kum lech al Nineveh ha'ir hagadola ukra eleha et hakriya asher anochi dover elecha vayakom Yonah vayelech el Nineveh kidvar Adonai v'Nineveh hayita ir gadola l'Elohim mahalach shloshet yamim Vayachel Yonah lavo vayir mahalach yom echad vayikra vayomar od arbaim yom v'Nineveh nehepachet vayaminu anshe Nineveh be'Elohim v'yikru tzom vayalvishu sakim migdolam v'ad ktanam Vayiga hadavar al melech Nineveh vayakom mikiso vaya'aver adarto me'alav vayichasak vayeshev al ha'efer vayazek vayomer b'Nineveh mitam hamelech ugdolav lemor Ha'adam ve'behema habakar ve'hatzon al yitamu me'uma al yiru umayim al yishtu v'yitkasu sakim ha'adam ve'behema v'yikreu el Elohim b'choska v'yashuvu ish midarko hara'ah Umin hechamas asher b'chapehem miodei yashuv v'nicham ha'Elohim v'shav mecharon apo v'lo noved Vaya'ar ha'Elohim et ma'asehem ki shavu midarkam hara'ah v'yinacham ha'Elohim al hara'ah asher diber la'asot lahem v'lo asa vayera al Yonah ra'a gdola vayichar lo vayitpalel Adonai vayomar Ana Adonai halo zedvari ad hayoti al admati al ken kidamti livrach tarshisha ki adati ki ata el chanun v'rachum erech apayim v'rav chesed v'nicham al hara'ah ve'ata Adonai kachna nafshi mimeni Ki tov moti mechayai, vayomer Adonai hahetiv charalach, vayetzeh Yonah min ha'ir, vayeshev mikedem la'ir, vayas lo sham sukkah, vayeshev tachteh vatzel, ad asher yireh ma yeh ba'ir. Vayiman Adonai Elohim kikayon vayal me'al Yonah liyotzel al rosho lahatzil lo mera'ato vayismach Yonah al hakikayon simcha gdola vayiman ha'Elohim tolat ba'alot ha'shachar lamacharat vatach et hakikayon vayivash vayihi kizrach hashemesh vayiman Elohim ruach kadim charishit vatach hashemesh al rosh Yonah v'yitalaf vayishal et nafsho lamut vayomer tov moti mechayai vayomer Elohim el Yonah hahetiv charalecha al hakikayon vayomer hetiv charali ad mavet vayomer Adonai ata chasta lakikayon asher lo amalta bo v'lo gidalto shebin Neilah haya uvin Neilah vad va'ani lo achus al Nineveh ha'ir hagadola asher yesh ba harbe mishtem ribo adam asher lo yada b'nimino lismolo uvema rabba miel kamocha noseh avon ve'over al pesha lisherit nachalato lo achzik la'ad apo ki chafetz chesed hu yashuv yirachamenu yichbosh avonoteinu v'tashlich bimtzulot yam kol chatotam Titan emet li'Yaakov chesed la'Avraham asher nishbat al avotenu mimei kedem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzadik bechol hadorot hal haneman haomer ve'oseh hamedaber umkayem shekol dvarav emet v'tzedek neman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'nemanim dvarecha v'davar echad midvarecha achor lo yashuv rekam Gil Melech Neman, Rachaman Ata, Baruch Ata Adonai, Ha'el Neman, Bechol Torav.
Amen.
Rachem al Tzion ki hi bechayenu, v'la'alu nefesh toshia b'mhera b'yameinu, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mesamech Tzion b'vaneha.
Amen.
Samecheinu Adonai Eloheinu b'Eliyahu Hanavi Avdecha, u'v'malchut Beit David Meshichecha, b'mhera yavo v'yagel libenu, al kiso lo yeshev zar, v'lo yinchalu od acherim et kvodo, ki b'shem kodecha nishbata lo, shelo yichbenero le'olam va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magen David.
Amen. Yishar kochach to Adina. It is especially not easy to do that when you know that your dad is behind you, with signs, knowing whatever else he might be doing. And also Yashar kochach to Jason, and to Maxine Perlmutter, who helped to create the signs and worked with me in coming up with and implementing the idea. So thank you very much. We hoped that it added to your own thoughts during the book of Yonah, and will help to put you in the right mindset for as we head into these final hours. We are going to be moving towards Yizkor soon. Hopefully, people were asked as you came in if you would like to take some stones and a book of remembrance. The stones, and I'll announce this again right when we're doing it, but are just as when we go to visit our relatives at a cemetery, we bring a stone. It's a mark of permanence. And so I invite you to be holding stones for your loved ones, to be as if you were holding them within your hand, and then also to bring them at the appropriate time up after you say the Yizkor prayers, to bring them up to the front and to place them, and so that we have that type of remembrance that will help keep us through the final hours. So. The author Louis Erdrich writes, "Life will break you. Nobody can protect you from that. And being alone won't either, for solitude will also break you with its yearning. You have to love. You have to feel. It is the reason you are here on earth. You have to risk your heart. You are here to be swallowed up. And when it happens that you are broken or betrayed or left or hurt or death rushes too near, let yourself sit by an apple tree and listen to the apples falling all around you in heaps, wasting their sweetness. Tell yourself that you have tasted as many as you could." When I think about losses that we've experienced as a community, losses that some of you have experienced in the year that was past, some of whom, as we say in Utanataka Bekitzo, and some lo Bekitzo, some in their time, some well before their time. And we often wonder why, especially on those latter ones. And we struggle to understand what the meaning is supposed to be. Where does this come from? Why do we have to experience such pain? The author, Kiran Satita, actually writes a book, Life is Hard, How Philosophy Can Help Us Find Our Way. He, at age 27, began to have chronic pain, completely debilitating at times, but invisible to anyone from the outside. It was I believe, still undiagnosed malady. And he uses the pain that he's lived with, the physical chronic pain that he has lived with throughout his life, to help us to think about the other pains that we experience. And when he says that life is hard, it's not that life is hard, go deal with it. It's not life is hard, here's how to make it easier. But it is an acceptance that part of our life is hard. No matter how good we may think somebody has it, no matter the riches, no matter the family that they may have around them, there are things that certainly make life easier at times, but it doesn't take away from the fact that life can be hard. He says about pain that whether chronic or acute, physical pain represents the body, bringing it into focus. He says pain isn't just bad in itself, it impedes one's access to anything good. I think grief can work like that sometimes too. It's not only the loss that we experience of the person who we love, but it is also the way that we go through our world is changed. The things that we feel up to doing may not be the same afterwards. The experience that we have may not be what it was previously. But he says that when we are without pain, he says we relax into our bodies, they disappear. Pain draws us back to our corporeality. And I think that that is true of grief as well. Because grief reminds us, at its best, how precious the time that we have here on this earth is, how fleeting it is, how much we need to take advantage of each moment that we have available to us. Because we know, as the psalmist says, whether it's 70, 80, if it were 1,000 years, it would never seem enough for us. And so, when we experience grief, it is a reminder to us that we are mortal, that our days are finite, and that we should live them with as much life as we can give them. And he writes that chronic pain is worse than a mere succession of harms, each distinct and self-contained. What makes it worse is the expectation of pain and the loss of any sense of life without it. And again, I think that when it comes to grief, the finality of it, right, anytime we see a loved one of ours in pain, it causes us pain. When we lose somebody, the permanence of that pain, it's a very different form of pain, and it leaves us in a sense of how do we move on? I think the how we move on is exactly in our understanding that the life is hard. Because I think we try, I know as parents we've tried so often, try and shield our kids from pain. We try and protect them. When we see them in pain, our instinct is to run quickly and go and help and save them. But we know that we can't always do that, because that is part of the life experience. When we accept that that is part of the life experience, then I think that we approach it a little bit different, and we understand that the small pains that our children may feel at young ages may help them to be able to withstand the larger pains that they experience later in life. And that the pains that we experience with loss can help us to become more compassionate to others. It can help us to remember who the person was, what was important in their life. How do we go about bringing that forward? And so the object is not to avoid pain, nor is it that life should be easy, but that we should take those times when life is hard. We should take those times when we are feeling pain and try to understand how that can, too, make us into better people. How the pain, the suffering, can make us more sensitive to the pain and suffering of others. How we can become better people. How each of us has an opportunity to taste the sweetness of those apples, making sure that we get as much out of it as we possibly can.